You wanted to talk about the Utah game.
Oh my God.
This is probably the game of the day.
Yeah.
This game
I
was
think so.
nuts. This game was absolutely nuts. Speaking of snakes in the toilet, it looked like K-State was going to be a snake in the toilet.
Yeah.
51-47 was your final here. Where is my sound? This was, as we like to say, a shootout.
Yes.
Through and through a shootout.
Actually, can I jump in? Because I usually use Dvorak to spotlight terrible drive charts, but this is almost as funny in its own way. Do you mind?
No, listen, this is your bit, man.
Punt, slow. Touchdown, 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 field goal. Punt, touchdown, punt, end of half. Touchdown, punt, touchdown, punt. Field goal, fumble, touchdown, punt, touchdown. Oh no, interception. End of game. It's a lot of touchdowns.
There's a lot of touchdowns. This game swung on, for my money, two pivotal plays. The first was Utah intercepting Kansas State on a 2-point try and then taking it the other way for 2 points.
Yep.
Ball was tipped, right? Ball was tipped into a Utah defender's hands. He goes the full distance. That makes the game 47-37. It was a 4-point swing, which, by the way, 4 points was the winning margin here. So that was significant. And then the second was on 4th and 1. Utah's got the ball in their own 39-yard line. 1:47 left on the clock. And Devin Dampier runs directly up the middle.
Yeah.
For 59 yards all the way down to like the 1-yard line. That gave Utah a goal-to-go circumstance. Extended the drive, obviously, and was what sprung them free and got them to the point where they could go in for the score and go up on K-State. K-State did have an opportunity to maybe pull some heroics. They didn't have any timeouts. I think it was under a minute. You and I were messaging back and forth like, what? This is going to go one of two ways. It's either going to go great and K-State's going to have a heroic victory, or it's going to end in some sort of bad turnover, and it ended in a bad turnover.
Yeah, there was the weird thing. I forget who had the run at the end of the game, if it was Dampier or somebody else, where in watching the game after the fact, because we were doing our live stream, our USC-Oregon live stream, that Utah had a long run, and it was run down at like the 3-yard line with like 1:58 left.
Yeah.
And then if they just let that dude score on that run, they have an additional minute with no timeouts. It's hard calculus to sort of compute when, you know, it's all happening live fire. But no, this game was incredible. It was 31-21. I think the idea that Kansas State, who has been so weird on offense this season, was able to score 31 in the first half, running like they were able to run against Utah. And this game was at Utah, yes?
Yeah.
This game was at Utah. Kansas State completely beat up in their front seven. Their offensive line has not been good this season. I did see that it was Matt Wells' first game up in the booth. So maybe that happened as a difference maker. I don't know. Chris Kleiman made like after the game, after the loss, made a big emotional speech in this presser about, you know, people thinking that, you know, they're just going through the motions and they made this conscious decision to really lock in on the run. Joe Jackson got so much exercise for Kansas State in a losing effort. Nearly went for 300 yards. They went right at Utah and succeeded. They went directly at Utah. And it wasn't just a collection of 90-yard runs. It was just chunky. But the final stat line was indicative of how successful Kansas State was against Utah. And honestly, like, the passing game wasn't there for Kansas State. I don't think Jace Brown played in this game, did he?
I didn't see him, no.
I don't think he was out there. So they're shorthanded on both sides of the ball. Utah, to their credit, is just making play after play and don't give up in this game. And it goes back and forth. Utah comes out on top. But in terms of a pure entertainment factor, that it did feel like Kansas State could have done the 1-2-3 Cancun thing. And they were just like, what if we just go directly at Utah and do not care about what we are or are not supposed to accomplish against the Utes? And I don't know why they didn't do this sooner against their schedule, But crazy impressive from Kansas State and slightly even more impressive for Utah for absorbing. Do you know how hard it is to win giving up 472 yards rushing? I
I
mean, that's a
mean,
win and a losing effort for Utah. Good God, man, but good job.
yeah, I mean, and Devin Dampier had a monster game.
He did.
He
He
had a
was amazing.
he had a monster game. 259 through the air. He had 94 on the ground, 4 total touchdowns. He very much powered this Utah offense to victory. Obviously, he had that big run
Yeah.
inside of 2 minutes to give them the opportunity to win in the first place. But, again, Ed, I don't know if we
Great
call
spot
this
here. Yeah.
a clunker. I don't know what the terminology is for a game like this, but this was whoever has the ball last is basically going to win. It just had that tenor the full way through.
Yeah.
It got real crazy in the second half. And, we had people messaging us and calling in about this one left and right just because 51-47 is a pure shootout and a lot of fun. There wasn't much defense. And we saw two teams that were very good on the ground.
Yeah.
Very good on the ground. Even though Utah with Devin Dampier had a little bit more going through the air, obviously. But I was damn impressed with the plan that Kansas State had in this game. I thought they were going to get the win here. And if they had gotten the win, I mean, more to the previous point, we've talked about playoffs and where Miami's place is in the playoffs and where some of these teams, Vanderbilt's another one that's a little bit lower. A Utah loss would have gone a long way for a team like a Miami. It wouldn't have put them in, certainly not in as
It's
an
an eliminator,
at-large.
though. Yeah.
But this would have been something that would have knocked Utah out and slid everybody else up a notch, and that would have been great for Miami. Miami did not have that luck, but Utah did, and a really nice win here, 51-47. At home, the crowd was going nuts. It looked like a great setting for a game. Obviously, they wish it wouldn't have been as close, but, you'll take the dub at this point.